Hello Tubesters, it's Gav, welcome to another one of my videos. I apologise if you can hear crashing, banging, sawing, drilling, right on cue. Somebody's having some work done outside and it's quite warm in the UK at the moment, so all the windows are open, apart from in here. So what have we got for you? Hopefully the title will tell you. Three 28mm Artizan miniatures Old West figures for my own collection. Three Pinkerton detectives, fairly simple sculpts really, because they've got those dusters on, and I've painted one as a jacket, you know, like a long overcoat jacket, and the other two I've painted as dusters. But they came up quite, I was quite happy with them. You know, at first I thought, oh, what can I do with these really, but you know, hopefully you like them. So they're for my own collection. I've finally been able to, if you remember, I tried to download some Skullforge miniatures from Gumroad, paid for them, you know, the STL files, and because they were RAR files and that, I've never been able to do it. I just paid the one price for one group of figures. I've never been able to get them to do anything, because people have tried to help and I just can't. My brain can't cope with most things at the best of times, and it just melts at anything like this. So I had one last go on a separate figure. Paid me, I think it's £5, or sorry, $5.50, but it worked out to about £4 something in the conversion. And it's Dr. Afra. I think it's Dr. Afra. If you follow Star Wars, she's not in the main films, I don't think, but if you get some of the comics and the what they call them graphic novel type things, she has big storylines in those. So I've managed to get the file onto the computer, and from the computer to the because this was just an STL file. The problem is I'm not 100% sure if she's supported or not. And I've put auto support in it. I haven't got a clue, so I'm going to do it tomorrow. We've got our own workman coming in a couple of hours to fix our front door, so I ain't got enough time to faff around with trying to work out prints. But yeah, I've scaled up one and done 3 or 4 Star Wars Legion scale ones as well. So what could possibly go wrong? Yeah, so we've got a file down on there, and I'm looking forward to that, because as I say, I do like my Star Wars. What else we got? Just about to prime after this. I'm priming the little walker. I can't even remember the code word for it, but the little walker, mini walker. I'm priming that, ready for some paint. So that's that. I'm in an R-ing which figures to go for next. I've got some money that I'll spend on War Games figures to hopefully recoup somewhere down the track, but I don't want to get whole regiments and that, because I'm doing commission at the moment, and it'd be no point, it'll just divert me from the commission. So I'm just getting a couple of sample figures from one of the companies, I believe. I haven't made my mind up completely yet. Yeah, I think that's about it. I was going to look at some of them Atomic Mass Games Marvel Protocol figures, but you know, a lot of them are, I mean, I know you get 2 in a box, but 30-35 quid. I get the enjoyment of painting them, but I don't want to keep them, so I've got to try and sell them, and if I can't sell them, it's 30 odd quid that I'm stuck with figures I can't sell, type of thing. And that money needs to be recouped, so so we can go into doing other stuff. So I've noticed that Skullforge also do some like Captain Americas and stuff like that. So for the price of a £5, the only problem is I can't sell those on. I know, don't sell printed figures. It's against their thing. Your agreement. So I won't be able to sell them, but for a £5 I can print off a few and just have a fun painting them. You know, it's I can do it that way. Anyway, I'm rambling through 3 figures here, so let's go down to the bench and take a look. If we can turn the camera off. Right guys, at the moment I feel like I'm in a dentist's with the drills going off. That one moment. Right, that's most of the windows shut, most of the doors internally shut, and I can still hear the bloke. Right, let's try again. Doesn't he realise that there's YouTube talent here trying to produce a video? Right, anyway, we're diverging again, aren't we? Digressing? I think digressing is the word I was after. So yeah, I've done this guy here in a, I suppose you could call a more traditional linen duster. If you don't know, these are called dusters, and the hints in the title, you'd put it over your clothes when you're riding your horse out west, or in a stagecoach even, because they were just dusty. They were made of linen. You put them over your normal clothes, and the theory is it keeps the most of the dust off them. Now these Pinkertons, I've always seen that, you know, they're coming down from Washington, as in the city of Washington rather than state. Sorry to my American friends. Yeah, coming down from Washington, New York, anywhere where there's big city types really. So they're a bit more salubrious. What you tend to forget is in the days, even in the West, it wasn't as sepia as some of the films would have you believe. That at that period of time, there's a lot of bright colours getting used and worn and stuff, because obviously there was more dyes available and stuff. But I wanted to, you know, make out these are quite well heeled, or at least they're city types that have come down to do a job. So I've given him roughly the, you know, what I'd say you'd expect a standard duster you might see in the films. They can be a lot more yellow or a lot more white. We'll see another one in a bit. Usual cork basing type materials that I've showed on the previous video on the German paras. Tufts are all different sizes made by myself. These are woodland scenics, you know, those little bits of spongy bits. If you don't want to spend money like that, you can get those green scouring pads and just chobble them up a bit and still paint them up. I've dry brushed these over just to give them a bit more of a look. I'm not phased if my bases don't look all the same. This is just a long-term project. When I fancy doing some Western figures, and I've got some, I don't have any more at the moment, I hoist a couple out and just put them on the bench and paint them alongside the commission. So I'm to say I'm not particularly fussed if the bases don't particularly look the same. But yeah, the overall effect of the base and the figures, I actually quite like to say that they were quite simple figures. So that's that one. Here's the other duster. And to get that effect, I've been using things like RAF Sky that goes on aircraft, and Luftwaffe primer, which is like a greeny grey primer, but again any greeny greys can do, you know, again they stick a name on it, but just a bit of rubber black just to outline the collar and some of the deep shadow areas. And he's got his glasses on. I just went with like a sky, very light blue, like a sky blue, and just gave him like simple brown trousers. And again, all the same rocks, the same. I might change how many tufts. I don't go for the formulaic, you know, must have two of these and one of them, and you know that just looks a bit odd really. So I just put them in places where I want to put them. There will be some photographs at the end as usual. I don't know how good they're going to be until I load them up. This guy here, he's quite snazzy, as you can see. He's got his stripy purple, violet waistcoat on. Put a bit of a silk lining in the jacket there, or the overcoat I should say. Now with this guy, I've tried to, I'll go in a bit closer. What I've done there is I've put the design in, but heavily washed it. So I weakly put the design in and then quite heavily washed it over in places and putting darker shadow blues in and that. So it's got some, if you look closely, you can see a design in it. It's only a rough one, but if you put your wash over quite heavy, as long as you don't obliterate it, it'll make up for anything that's not, you know, if it doesn't look particularly, if it doesn't conform all the stripes or whatever you've decided to put. My idea here was like a tweedy type, a blue tweed, with a, you know, like some type of pattern, check pattern woven into it. But I didn't want it the idea is here, so if you're a bit worried about doing stuff like that, if you heavily wash it over with paint, you know, make a weak paint wash and then give it, you know, 4 or 5 applications in different areas, and some will go heavier in some areas, lighter. Obviously, paint it lighter on the top there. You'll still get that effect, and it won't be too overpowering. And if you don't think it looks very good, it will. You know, you'll camouflage a lot of that. Probably work for kilts as well. If you're worried about doing a kilt, if you do something like that and heavily wash it, you'll hide a lot of your mistakes, hopefully. Just stuffed up his eye a bit there. I might have to sort that. He came with the blooming barrel of the Winchester bust off. And then it was funny, I was watching Justin's video and he said he dropped his, I think he was doing a Perry's diorama thing, and he dropped and bust off the colour bearer's staff, pole, whatever you want to call it. And just as he said that, I was moving this and it fell over, and because it was only super glued on, I've not tried to. I should have really tried to, as it was for me, tried an attempt at soldering it, but I've only glued it back on again, and lots of sanding and whatever. Hence the rather out of look bands that we've got there, but oh well. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing these. It's let's get back a bit. I left them towards the end because I thought, oh, they're fairly, you know, I mean, they've got a bit of a style to them. The way that, you know, this way the sculptors, you know, got them with the nonchalant way they're standing there. You know, it's a classic, something just out of the films, isn't it? You know. But yeah, I like them actually. They've grown on me since I painted them. So the one with the grey blue derby hat on, he's had his couple of. No, he hasn't. What am I talking about? Because I've done all based at the same time. No, sorry. He's had, yeah. So he's had his coat of varnish on, but I didn't varnish these two figures, which I normally varnish them first. But I wanted to base them all together, so they've got to have a bit of a varnish. They'll have to have an extra varnish on. I do it through the airbrush, but I like to give obviously the bases a varnish. And if you varnish over the top of if you're blowing varnish on anyway rather than painting it on, it just helps sealing any of the ground cover as well. So, right guys, thank you very much for stopping by and taking a look. I've no idea what's coming up. Yeah, we're still going to get that blooming Vietnam bust. I don't believe it. I've enjoyed painting that, and I'm dragging my feet actually giving a last reveal of that. Modelling, I stuck the bits of the 1 in 72 Hurricane. The interior wasn't particularly great when I put it together. Not their fault, that's mine. We'll see that when the time comes, but I've obviously got to do all the seam lines and everything on it yet, so that'll be done over the week. Probably get a chance to do either the bike. I think I might try and get some more of the bike done this week, try and push it forward. About it really. We've got sometime in the week we'll have a reveal of one of the units of the 28mm Napoleonic commission I'm working on, and there'll be some other bits and bobs bubbling up as well. So take care of yourselves. Hope everything's going well with you. Oh, I did. By the way, I also did a bit more to the Western building finally as well. They only get little dribs and drabs on everything. So suddenly there's a little rush when everything gets to the finishing line, but not at the moment. So anyway, back to what I was saying. Look after yourselves. Thanks for the support you're showing me. I really appreciate it. If you've got channels, thank you very much for your output, because it's good company to when I'm sitting here at my bench. So until next time, enjoy your week, and we'll catch each other very soon on another video.